Brothers and sisters, what I am about to tell you is incredible. A very recent discovery is shaking the scientific world, a sign that God continues to speak to us through His saints. Saint Teresa of Ávila, the great mystic, the reformer, the woman who walked between heaven and earth, has astonished us once again. Recently, her body has been exhumed once more, and what scientists, doctors, and men of little faith have seen has left them speechless. The body of Saint Teresa is still incorrupt, not decomposed, not reduced to dust like any other human being. She is there, intact, as if death had no power over her. Could this be a sign that God is trying to tell us something? Could it be proof that the saints live beyond death? That holiness is not a legend but a reality we can witness with our own eyes? Saint Teresa is not the only saint whose body has remained incorrupt after death, but in this case, there are extraordinary elements that I am sure will leave you in awe. Take a few minutes because today, we will not only discover the incredible reality of Saint Teresa's body, but also why God wanted it to remain intact and what this means for all of us. To fully understand what is happening today, we must look back at the life of Saint Teresa of Ávila.
I knew very well that I had a soul, but I did not understand its value nor who dwelt within it, because the vanities of life had blinded my eyes and prevented me from seeing. If I had understood, as I do now, that in the small inn of my soul lives such a great king, I think I would not have left him so alone. But from time to time, I would have kept him company, and I would have been more diligent in keeping myself without stain.
From a young age, she was an extraordinary woman, a mystic, a reformer of the Carmelite Order. She had heavenly visions, mystical experiences of extraordinary intensity, and a relationship with God that transformed her soul into a burning fire of divine love. She fought against persecution, against temptations, against the flesh and the devil. But her faithfulness to Christ was unshakable. In her visions, Teresa spoke of a deep union with God, of ecstasies so powerful that they made her levitate, of a love that consumed her heart like a flame. After her death in 1582, her body was buried with honor. But what happened next would shock the world. A few years after her death, it was decided to exhume the saint's body. And what the monks and bishops found was astonishing. The body was intact. No signs of decomposition, the skin soft, her face serene as if she were merely sleeping. It was then that word began to spread about the miracle of her incorruptibility. At a time when science could not explain such a phenomenon, the faithful saw this as undeniable proof of the holiness of a woman who had lived solely for God. But today, in an era where science dominates modern thought, where everything must be proven through numbers and formulas, Saint Teresa has returned to challenge the world. I bring you extraordinary news that strengthens our faith and draws us closer to the divine mystery. On August 28, 2024, at the Monastery of the Annunciation of Our Lady in Alba de Tormes, Spain, the tomb of Saint Teresa of Ávila was reopened in the presence of Bishop Monsignor José María Gil Tamayo, who authorized the exhumation. The opening of the tomb was a solemn moment. The burial site was secured with 3 keys held separately by the monastery's superior, the diocesan bishop, and a representative of the Carmelite Order. After a prayer was recited, the keys were used to open the sepulchre, revealing an interior that was surprisingly well preserved. What has been discovered has once again left the entire world speechless. After more than 500 years since her death, Saint Teresa's body remains incorrupt, defying the natural laws and astonishing both the faithful and the scientific community. To fully grasp the magnitude of this event, it is important to remember that the last examination of Saint Teresa's body took place in 1914. After 110 years, the recent exhumation has revealed that the state of preservation of her remains remains unchanged, an undeniable miracle. Science, despite all its advancements, cannot explain this phenomenon. Studies conducted by a team of Italian doctors and scientists have confirmed that the exposed parts of her body, such as her face and foot, remain in the same condition as observed in 1914. Although the skin on her face appears mummified, Teresa's features are still clearly recognizable. But that is not all. Among the analyses conducted, one particular observation left scientists astonished. Numerous limestone spines were found embedded in the bones of her feet, a condition that, according to modern medicine, should have made it impossible for her to walk. And yet, historical records state with certainty that Saint Teresa walked regularly, often covering long distances between the convents of her reform. How was this possible? Could it be that her life and actions were truly sustained by divine grace? Now, in the face of this incredible revelation, we must ask ourselves, why did God choose for Saint Teresa's body to remain incorrupt? What meaning does this sign hold for us? Why, centuries after her death, does her body still remain whole? The answer is simple. This is a reminder that death does not have the final word. The flesh may perish, but the saints are alive in God. Saint Teresa lived her entire life as a bride of Christ. She mortified her flesh, she dedicated every beat of her heart to the Lord. And God, in His infinite love, wanted to show us that those who are faithful to Him never truly die. Pay close attention. The incorruptibility of her body is a sign for us who are living in this moment in history, for us who are surrounded by the illusions of modern life, by false promises. Because the real life is not here, but in the kingdom of God.
Let nothing disturb you. Let nothing frighten you. Everything passes. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. Whoever has God lacks nothing. God alone is enough. Let your desire be to see God, your fear to lose Him, your pain to not possess Him, your joy, whatever brings you closer to Him, and you will live in great peace.
Now, more than ever, we need signs. We live in a world that seeks to erase faith, that tries to replace God with science, with technology, with the selfishness of modern man. And yet, God continues to speak to us. He continues to send visible, undeniable signs. Saint Teresa of Ávila is still here. Her body remains among us, a living testimony of holiness, of God's grace, of the eternal destiny of those who love the Lord with all their heart. This story must not leave us indifferent. It is a call to conversion, to prayer, to holiness. If Saint Teresa, through her life of sacrifice and love, was able to attain this glory, then we can too. We too can live a life that does not die, an existence that does not end at the grave but continues in the glory of God. And now I ask you, are you ready to live like Saint Teresa? Are you ready to leave the world behind and embrace Christ? Because I assure you, the Lord is calling you, just as He called her. Comment below and share this story with everyone. The world must know that God is alive and that His saints still walk among us. May God bless you all.